What if the reason you can't change is because the person trying to change isn't you anymore? Every time you decide to become someone new, your old self fights back. Not because it's evil, but because it was built to survive. Today, science is revealing how to let that old identity die, not metaphorically, but neurologically. And what replaces it can change everything about your life. Welcome to Quantum Life. In our last series, Quantum Consciousness, we explored how awareness shapes reality, how every observation collapses potential into form. But the next question is far more personal. If consciousness creates reality, how can you consciously create yourself? That's what this new series, Quantum Identity, is all about. Across the next 10 episodes, we'll explore how to dissolve the old self, shift your state of being, and align your biology, emotions, and thoughts with the identity of your future self. By the end of this series, you'll not only understand how your brain constructs you, but how to consciously reconstruct it from the inside out. Let's begin where every transformation begins, with death. Not the end of life, but the end of who you used to be. We often think change means doing something new, a new habit, a new mindset, a new version of productivity. But real transformation isn't about addition, it's about subtraction. It's the moment you stop being who you've been rehearsing. Neuroscience shows that your self is not fixed. It's a living prediction, built from emotional memories and repeated behaviors. At New York University, neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux discovered that emotional memories, especially those tied to fear or attachment, are stored in the amygdala and replayed automatically to keep us safe. That's what the self is, not your soul or essence, but your brain's best strategy for survival. This is why every time you try to grow, something inside resists. Your body doesn't fear change, it fears uncertainty. And that's where transformation begins, in the space between who you've been and who you're becoming. At Brown University, Judson Brewer found that awareness can break even the deepest habit loops. Habits, whether behavioral or emotional, run on a cycle: trigger, behavior, reward. But when you observe the loop instead of reacting, your brain stops rewarding it. The craving for familiarity fades. The old self starts to lose energy. This is what dying to the old self looks like. Neurologically, you stop feeding the old identity with your attention. And when awareness becomes greater than emotion, biology begins to change. Lisa Feldman Barrett at Northeastern University calls this emotional construction. Your emotions aren't fixed. They're predictions your brain makes based on past experience. So every time you feel the same emotion and tell yourself the same story, you're reinforcing that version of you. But when you stay conscious through discomfort, when you feel without becoming the feeling, your brain updates its prediction. That's the biological moment when the old self begins to dissolve. Let's connect this to the quantum perspective. In quantum physics, a particle exists in many states at once, a superposition of potential, until it's observed. In the same way, your identity exists in multiple potential versions, but every morning, you collapse the same one into reality, simply by observing yourself the same way. What would happen if you stopped doing that? If you stopped identifying with the old version long enough for a new one to appear? That's what real transformation feels like: disorientation, uncertainty, and freedom. As neuroscientist Carl Friston at University College London explains, your brain's job is to minimize surprise. It constantly predicts what will happen next and who you are to feel safe. So when you act in a new way, you challenge the brain's prediction. That's not failure, that's evolution. You're forcing your system to update its model of reality. That's how the new self is born, in the unknown. Here's the paradox. You can't become someone new by trying to fix the old you. You have to stop identifying with it. So for the next few days, don't try to change. Just observe. When an old reaction appears, don't fight it. Witness it. When a familiar emotion arises, don't suppress it. Feel it fully without judgment. Every time you do that, you take energy away from the old identity and give it back to awareness. That awareness is your true self, the observer that never changes. From there, everything is possible. This is where neuroscience and quantum theory meet. Change doesn't happen when you force it. It happens when you stop reinforcing the version of you that no longer resonates. Death isn't destruction, it's liberation. And when the old self collapses, what emerges isn't someone new. It's the version that's been waiting in the field all along. In our next episode, Shifting Identity, the science of becoming someone new, will uncover how visualization, emotion, and repetition rewire your brain's architecture, and how you can use this process to consciously design who you become. Thank you for watching Quantum Life. If this episode inspired you, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who's ready to let go of who they were. You'll find recommended books and related episodes in the description below. And if you haven't yet, start with Quantum Consciousness, the illusion of self. It's the foundation of everything we'll explore here, because you can't build the new reality until you let the old self die.